to this week's edition of the Fantasy Report. I'm Lee Yates.
Eric knows Brian Barry.
We're excited to bring you this week's episode. We're going to start off this week with a little shake-up. We're going to go to Poogie for a 2-minute drill.
Frank Gore and the Cards D took a vacation, and Moneyball Squad was big-time caking. Saquon and crew, and even Drew, breezed to a victory over the Ocho Grandes. What? Allen Robinson and Shady McCoy decided to double penetrate Gibbs for a change, and Emmanuel Sanders and Kareem Hunt sent Lisa Ann to Kurt's room for some shoulder rubs. Yikes. Spaghetti Sauce tried to stir the pot, but there were two girlies in one cup that overfloweth with Todd Gurley touchdowns. OBJ tweeted all game, but eventually ran out of characters and failed to give the sauce enough kick for the W. Yikes. The process was put to an absolute halt, and the QB performance was certainly something to be embarrassed about. Jared Rosen puts up a deuce dog, the same number of wins Mick has. Jimmy Switch was granted when Chargers D sent Mick right to chemotherapy. Derek Anderson's 3 picks made the commish grab the wiener. Marlon Easy Mac was an instant touchdown as Michael Thomas had 69 nice yards that could make Xanon blush. The commish pops another Xan, but it's not the kind you remember in bed. Finally, the Jews usually disappoint God, but not this week, as the man upstairs watched the Star of David have 8 crazy nights worth of scoring. Jags D were jagging off in the eye of God, while the Jews span the dreidel in the end zone.
And we're back. So this week we're going to start off in segments. We're going to go back to basics. Love, hate. Would you like to start us off?
I would. Player I love this week at the quarterback position, Tom Brady at Buffalo. You know, Buffalo's D is not bad, but the team,
They're an enigma. They're an enigma. They've been good, and then they just got absolutely shredded by
I
luck.
think they lose by 40 every game. I think the Patriots put up 40 every game. But one-on-one together, you got Brady to Josh Gordon all day.
Not wrong. Quarterback I love this week, Jared Goff versus the Green Bay Packers. Tough couple of weeks for Jared Goff. I think you can attest to that more than I can. But
Not tough, but just too much time.
Too much
time.
I think that changes this week in Green Bay, or in LA. Actually, Green Bay is visiting LA. I think Jared Goff's going to have a solid game. Cooper Kupp is back. Robert Woods has been here. I think they're going to be tossing that thing this week.
I think so too. And a running back I love this week, hate to say it, David Johnson. Someone call him one of the biggest dunders of the first round, but they're playing San Fran D's week. They just got destroyed.
New offensive coordinator.
Yep, Pat Pete is not happy there. I expect a statement game from the Cardinals in this one.
Running back I love this week, Joe Mixon versus Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay's defense has been as bad as any defense in the league so far this year, and the Bengals need to show us something after that absolute slaughter this past week. I think Joe Mixon's gonna be at the forefront of that.
I could see that. And like I said earlier, player I love at the wide receiver position, Josh Gordon. I think that game is gonna be a fucking rout. They're gonna run him out of the fucking stadium. Josh Gordon, for sure, tutty. For sure, 80 yards. For sure, 5 receptions. Nothing less.
Wide receiver I love this week, T.Y. Hilton at Oakland. Oakland is an absolute dumpster fire right now. Everything is going terribly. John Gruden might be retarded, but we all loved him just
Derek
because he was
Carr
fun.
is crying.
Derek Carr is crying. Everything's a mess. They're burning to the ground. T.Y. Hilton's going to have 7 catches for 95 yards and maybe a touchdown.
Definitely see that. Now, tight end I love, there's not that many out there. Just so happens I have one. Zach Ertz at Jacksonville. Jacksonville, another case of just
What is
the team going under, Titanic going straight
fist fights in the
down.
locker room after games? What is going
Blake
on?
Bortles on the shortest leash of all time.
For Cody Kessler.
Yeah, just signed him to a new contract. I'm sure they're scratching their heads right now.
Where's Leonard Fournette? Is Carlos Hyde the starter now? Who knows?
Zach Ertz is coming in there, big dick vibe. He's catching at least 100 yards, tutty, Jacksonville, it's over.
BDE. To continue that, opposite of what you said about David Johnson, I think the Cardinals just flat out suck, and I don't think they're going to get a safety game. George Kittle had a huge game against them a couple weeks ago, and I think he does it again. George Kittle's a stud. He's been one of the most consistent tight ends in fantasy so far this season. I think he keeps it going this week at Arizona.
Player I hate at the quarterback position, As you guys all know, I hate him every week.
Hall of Famer.
Did you watch the game? Anyway, Eli Manning. They traded the other Eli. They got it wrong.
Eli Apple was he sucks. The Eric Flowers in defense.
Giants are playing the Redskins. Their D has been stout. I streamed their D last week. Easiest 20 I ever made. And it's the Giants. Say no.
Quarterback I hate this week, Cam Newton versus Baltimore. Baltimore's defense has been rock solid, especially they just pretty much held Drew Brees in check, and he's been one of the best quarterbacks in fantasy. I don't see anything changing with Cam Newton. He's been really inconsistent this year. He's been making plays, he's been taking hits, just normal Cam Newton stuff. I don't think he's going to have much of a big game this week in Baltimore, especially the way that defense is playing.
Another player I hate, Jordan Howard. His production's been bad. Jets D, I think they come back this week. I called them getting destroyed last week, but I'm calling them coming back this week. They're the most inconsistent team. But when they get a big L, they come back with a big W.
Especially because Tariq Cohen's been taking all of Jordan Howard's carries. That sucks for Jay. Again, we're going to touch on that.
Huber, we'll be getting to that later, guys. Trust me.
Running back I hate this week is Lamar Miller versus Miami. Lamar Miller had a good game against Buffalo, which is kind of weird because their run defense has been pretty good. But I don't see that happening again. I don't know. He's weird. He's kind of bad. He was good like 3 years ago, not anymore.
Now, another player I hate, Chris Godwin at Cincinnati. Cincinnati D, atrocious last week.
Really bad.
I don't expect him to be that bad. And who the fuck is Chris Godwin? I mean, he's the randomest stream that you could ever put in your lineup.
Who has him?
Jimmy? We'll also get into that later.
Receiver I hate this week is Golden Tate versus Seattle. I think the Lions' offense is kind of in a new place. They've been a pass-first offense for years, and now I think Kerryon Johnson is the runner they've been looking for. They finally had a 100-yard game, I think 4 weeks ago now, which was the first one in like 5 years for them, which is fucking crazy. Yeah. And he ran for 159 this past week. I think you're going to have to keep the ball on the ground against Seattle. Their pass defense has been weird, as always. They've had some really good games. They've had some really bad games, and Matt Stafford is the same thing. He can be a top 5 quarterback in the league, or he can be a bottom 5 quarterback in the league. I don't think Golden Tate is going to be the guy. I think Kerryon Johnson, Theo Riddick catching balls out of the backfield. That's pretty much maybe a deep shot to Marvin Jones or Kenny Golladay. Other than that, not much for Golden Tate.
Similar player to that for my last player on my hate list, Evan Ingram. He has the talent.
He does.
He's young. He gets hurt all the time. He's got Eli throwing him the ball. Can't even get Odell, the best wide receiver in the league, the ball.
Manning on a play fake. Rolls right, throws a deep ball down the right sideline. Odell Beckham.
So I don't think he gets him the ball because he is not the best tight end.
Tight end I hate this week is Greg Olsen, sticking with that Carolina-Baltimore matchup. Carolina hasn't been bad, but they also haven't been blowing me away by any means. Greg Olsen just came back from injury. He had a decent game, caught a touchdown this past week, but I don't really see much coming from him against this Baltimore defense. Again, low-scoring game. I think Baltimore will win, and Greg Olsen's not going to do much.
Now for our next segment,
A new one.
Hard facts.
This segment we go 3 for 3. It's a 6-pack cold hard facts sponsored by Bud Light.
Of course.
We are each going to give 3 facts that we think are cold hard facts about the league. That's plain and simple.
They're going to be bold, so brace yourself. My first cold hard fact, Jimmy's team actually has cancer, believe it or not. Let's just go through the team here. Gronk, no show. Marshawn, you're hurt. Forever. Jarvis Landry, not bad, I guess.
Le'Veon,
I mean, James Conner definitely had cancer.
Chris Ivory, Kenny Stills.
Jeez.
They're dead.
Julian Edelman, off PEDs. He's not even doing that much right now. Overall, cancers.
My first cold hard fact of this week, and it's a scorcher. God is not watching Cavs team. This team is just for the year that we switched to half-point PPR, to have the receivers he has on that team is actually unbelievable. Get it together, make a move, do something. I live with Nick. I see the offers that you're giving him when he's offering you stuff back. It's crazy. It's actually crazy. You need a receiver. Do something. Figure it out.
You know, Kaz, I think the best investment you can ever make is just doing auto pick. Like, your team will come out better. I promise. Like, what were you thinking? But let's take a quick peek here.
Quick look.
We need more eyes on this.
We got Doug Baldwin, Taylor Gabriel, Devin Funchess, Larry Fitzgerald, Cavs.
What? I remember
Larry
you taking him early, too.
Fitzgerald.
I remember.
Geronimo Allison, Corey Davis. You got the
Austin Eckler? Nice.
There's nothing else to say, Cavs. You gotta make a move because I know you get made fun of and picked on for the trades you've made in the past, but
You gotta prove yourself here.
you gotta
Trade a
make
running
a
back.
move. You got 2 good running backs and 2 good quarterbacks and a solid tight end. You gotta do something.
Please. Now, my second cold hard fact, Uber will finish in the top 6 by the end of the season. You know, I think Tariq Cohen is really going to emerge as a player here, kind of similar to Kamara last year. I think he's going to start really picking it up towards the end of the year, getting the carries. Jordan Howard's not producing. He's faster, big playability.
You have guys like what's Devontae Adams? He's quietly the 5th ranked receiver in fantasy. You've got a solid team.
Saquon, can't miss with him.
2
Kirk
top 10
Cousins, Drew
quarterbacks.
Brees.
I mean, it's a good team.
Evan Ingram, you got to figure that out. Crabtree, decent flex.
He's got a good team.
Solid.
My second cold hard fact this week, the process is getting nervous. Again, I live with Jason, and I was sitting next to him as he texted and went through every roster in the league today, trying to make a deal because he is absolutely petrified that his only running back is Nick Chubb.
He FaceTimed me.
FaceTime you, FaceTime Uber, Eddie, he texted Cavs, Kurt, and Billy. He talked to everybody in the league today trying to make a move and couldn't get anything done. If anybody wants to make a fair, decent trade with Nick, you can get Josh Gordon or Antonio Brown if the offer is right. But the process is nervous.
Now, for my last cold hard fact, paid on him every week. Dalvin Cook will cost Liam the season. He invested him in the first round. He did decent the first 2 weeks, like putting up numbers like shady, and he can't even touch the field. It's a hammy. You're fine.
That's what I'm saying.
Like, you think they'd be worried about the ACL? It's a hammy.
That's the thing. It's not like it's still his ACL. It's a pulled hamstring that he just can't get quite right and get back on the field. You're not even alone. It's gonna cost
Latavius
me
Murray is quietly running away with his job. He has been
really
pretty
good.
good.
Really good.
And I told you to worry about him at the beginning of the season, and you shook me off.
He's good. Dalvin's good. Get him on the field.
Latavius Murray is also good, and that's why I'm right.
And my third and final cold hard fact: the spaghetti sauce is heating up, folks. Eddie's team is pretty good. Let me pull it up here. We'll take a look at some of the players, but Odell had a good game. He's got 2. I mean, quarterbacks are solid. I mean, Wentz and Keenum. Keenum is not what you want, but he's not bad. Kerryon Johnson is emerging as one of the league's best runners. Kenyon Drake is hit or miss, but he's serviceable in the year that we're having with running backs, where there's only like 6 or 7 actually good ones. Odell, Diggs, Jimmy Graham. Like, you got a really good team, and then you have the 3rd-ranked defense. You've got a good team. There's not much else I can say. Spaghetti sauce is heating up. Watch out.
If Diggs starts slicking into Thielen's touches, I might be a little worried. But
Rightfully so.
will it happen? Probably.
That's going to conclude this week's Cold Hard Facts, sponsored by Bud Light. We're going to move now to an exclusive interview with Jay Bartolucci, GM and owner of Tyler Eifert's Ankle. And now for our interview with GM and owner of Tyler Eifert's Ankle, all the way from Alabama, we have Jay Bartolucci. Jay, how are you?
I'm doing great. Glad to be here. Pretty happy the fantasy report's finally giving me a little FaceTime.
Oh, we're happy to have you. Our first question for you is we want to just quickly talk about your name change from years of being Team Bartolucci to moving into Tyler Eifert's Ankle. What do you got to say about that?
I mean, you guys called me out on the fantasy report. I think it was like episode 2 or 3. Didn't realize it was that big a deal, so I was like, all right, let's do this. And Tyler Eifert, I think, hurt his ankle like the week before I changed it or something like that. And I remember watching it, and it was funny. So there you go.
There you go. There you have it, folks. We have the story behind Jay's name. Our second question for you is kind of a hot button issue around the league. Is you traded Julio Jones for Jordan Howard and
That I did.
and who Keelan Cole, who you
Keelan Cole,
is
who
now on
currently
waivers.
I think, yeah.
So would you like to walk us through the thought process of that trade and how you thought that was going to be a beneficial deal for your team?
All right, so first, Julio, I had an excess of receivers. I had like Julio, Emmanuel Sanders, Golden Tate, and Brandon Cooks. One of them had to go. Really didn't care which one. If you look at the points, I'm pretty sure Julio and Emmanuel have basically done the same this season. If not, Emmanuel's done like a slightly bit better. So like, wasn't really a big deal. And now I have Jordan Howard, who, Tariq Cohen's taken over a little in Chicago.
Yeah, he sure
But
is.
Sony Michel, basically had an exorcism on the field the other day and has no knee left. And now I got Jordan Howard coming in right behind Kareem Hunt, who is an absolute animal.
Well, based on that logic, you can't really fault him, but it kind of sucks.
And
that
like,
Kurt
I
has to
feel
wait.
that Kurt's the best team in the league now because of that. And like, I'm sorry to everybody else, but God's watching. So
And you're not wrong. God is watching, and the process has to be trusted. And quickly,
not this week.
Not this week. Ooh, a little contentious right there. A little contentious in the interview. Way to spice it up, Jay. But lastly, we're just going to touch quickly on, because we know that you are a busy man with a lot of things to do. Just any comments you'd have about the season going forward, thoughts about your team and the rest of the league.
Kurt, far and away, best team. Not even a question, I don't think. Billy, Golden Tate for John Brown. I think it's a good trade. Hit my line. What else? My team, honestly, I think I was telling you this the other night. You guys got to realize that two teams make it at 6 and 8 in the playoffs every year. Your team doesn't have to be good; it just has to be good enough. And that's what my team is. It's good enough. Nothing special, average, but I'm gonna get there.
All right, perfect. Thanks for coming on, Jay. We're happy to have you. We'll talk to you soon. All right.
Well tied.
And now, Poogie's Picks.
Welcome back to Poogie's Picks, where all we do is go 4-2. Steady diets of 4s and 2s, picking games. Last week, my 2 L's. Jay just comes out of nowhere. Good for him, I guess. And then Mick just lays an egg. It's all part of the process. I'm not worried. If you don't think I'm going 4-2 next week, you're a fucking moron. I'm hot right now. My picks are coming in, and I'm fucking doing damage. So ride with me if you know what's good for you. Moving into this week. Get it going. First one, spaghetti sauce versus Ocho Grandes. All I gotta say about this is my starting running backs, Frank Gore and Ty Montgomery. GG it. Sneak by this week, but if I had a running back, anyone who wants to give me one, somebody, please. I know you're out there, guys. Come on, nigga. Next game, 2 girlies, 1 cup, Lights Camara action. Really comes down to, in my opinion, the Saints versus Vikings game.
Gannon steps into it, pass is caught! Diggs! Sideline! Touchdown! Unbelievable!
Game, which I think is going to be a low-scoring battle where the Saints defense flexes and the Saints take the dub. That being said, I think the combination of Mahomes and Gurley just propels 2 girlies, 1 cup into a dub. In this situation, they're cooking, they got a chip on their shoulder because I haven't picked them enough, and Gibbs just keeps letting me down. So, what have you done for me lately? Now next, Tyler Eifert's ankle, who doesn't have a starting quarterback 2 right now, but also was a big dog last week, going against Mick, who's been trusting that process. We're hanging in there, but last week he doesn't even break 90 points. So, that being said, I think only 1 quarterback for the ankle, plus the resume beforehand. Didn't really have a lot of gas to cook with, whereas Mick was cooking with a plethora of gas. Whole bunch of gang shit was going on. That being said, I think Nick Chubb gives Mick a chub, and I think it gives him a dub over Jay Eifert's ankle. Book that one. Now next one, Get Cancer, who's chugging along, making his wishes, they're getting granted. Grab the wiener, sneaking out with wins. Eli's somehow getting it done. Barely. The guy's a train wreck. Giants fans, what are you gonna do? Go 1-8. And grab the wiener. Tyreek Hill, Robert Woods. I gotta go with Jimmy.
Come on. Feel that?
Emily George.
Feel that? All right. Yeah. Nice to meet you.
Guys are just riding the wave. Also, I think it gives him a lot of karma. If I pick him, he might lay an egg this week, and he's going to be tight on Sunday. I want to watch him flip out in front of everyone and get it recorded. It's going to be on a Snapchat story.
Come on. What's up, fam? How you doing? All right. Never forget about that, because that's all we got.
So, you're welcome. It's going to pay dividends in the long run. Next, we got the absolute toilet bowl of the century, Moneyball Squad versus Gods Watching. This matchup is just got ass tat written all over it. I think whoever wins this bout is just really gonna sneak out of this, and whoever loses, just like start shaving your ass now, because you don't want the guy at the shop to do it and just look like an asshole in front of everybody. You're getting an ass tattoo. So I'm never gonna bet against my man Drew Brees, and I think Moneyball Squads takes it. I don't think Drew Brees would let anyone get an ass tattoo in any type of league, anywhere. I don't care what sport it is. And then you just got Cavs team who's just like filled with cucks like Tom Brady and fucking Jags D, who just gets torched all the time. Maybe we'll get cuck tattooed on your ass calves, or maybe God, because he's watching. You lose to Uber. And then the last one, my bucket of the week, just because this guy is just on absolute fuego, Star of David. The Jews just started taking everyone's money, putting it in their pocket, and then putting it in like a savings account for like 30 years and never touching it, and just never being generous to anyone. Thanks, Kurt. Versus Billy, Phillip Rivers bye. He's hitting me up for Andy Dalton. Yikes. So even if Billy has Andy Dalton, he's probably getting clapped. Kurt's just gonna find a way to win. Hope I don't jinx him, and hope he doesn't spiral downwards to Cavs territory. That's Poogie's picks. 4-2 coming your way.
And that's gonna wrap it up for this week's edition of the Fantasy Report. For me, Dave Gates, my partner, Brian Baird. Thank you guys for watching. God is watching. Always.